The tale of the zombie voodoo doll is truly horrifying. One day, whilst browsing the internet, an unnamed woman from Galveston, Texas, had stumbled across something equally intriguing as it was terrifying. An anonymous seller on eBay had appeared on her feed and was desperate to rid themselves of a strange-looking hairball. It was named the Zombie Voodoo Doll. But the doll's name didn't do justice to the events that were about to occur. As it would turn out, the woman unknowingly entered a world no one could have ever been ready for. Fascinated by the eBay listing, curiosity seemed to get the better of her. As soon as she clicked the pay button, a man all the way in New Orleans immediately took the doll to the post office. The zombie voodoo doll had arrived so quickly that the woman was shocked when she opened the box. After she unwrapped her most recent purchase, she couldn't help but to think to herself that the zombie voodoo doll resembled something a cat would cough up. Nails, screws, string, and cloth were amongst slumps of human hair. It's unknown whose hair it was, but it didn't look like the typical doll you would buy for your children. It was actually far from it. The woman wasn't expecting the doll so soon and was so intrigued with the doll's peculiar appearance. The woman completely forgot about the description the seller added to the auction. In the description was a set of rules. Amongst the long list of rules, there was one that stood out in particular. It read, "Do not remove the doll from its original silver casing." Much to her regret, this was a rule she immediately broke. She took the doll out of the box and carefully removed the doll from its locked silver casing. But this was a horrible mistake. It's believed the woman left the doll on her dining room table as she went about her day. It wasn't until later that night that the doll made its presence known. After returning home from a long day of doing unknown tasks, the woman was exhausted and went to sleep. As she slept, she claimed that the doll had appeared in her dream and attacked her. She said that the doll was relentless, and she remembered feeling every swing the doll sent her way. She had woken up in such a panic that was only made worse once she saw scratches on her body. The scratches were in the same place that the doll had attacked her in. The dream was so intense that she relisted the doll on eBay that same night. She tried to get rid of this doll, but it proved very difficult to do so. She tried multiple times, and each bidding ended with not a single person wanting to purchase it. Finally, someone was brave enough to purchase the doll. Just like the man from New Orleans, the woman carefully wrapped the doll back up as soon as she could and sent it on its way. Luckily for the buyer, when the box arrived at their house, it was empty. The buyer was obviously confused and tried to contact the woman who sold him the doll. After a while, the buyer believed he had been scammed and tried to forget about it. Unfortunately for the woman, this was far from the truth. The now missing zombie voodoo doll had mysteriously turned up on her doorstep. As she was leaving her house one morning, she noticed something on her step. She almost tripped over it, but after a closer inspection, her stomach dropped as she realized that the doll had found its way back to her house. The only thing she could think to do was to give it to a professional who was trained in paranormal activity and voodoo witchcraft. The doll is now still in the hands of an unnamed supposed ghost hunter. This person claimed they wanted the doll for research purposes, but the person seemed to have vanished. It's unknown where the zombie voodoo doll is today. Do you think something happened to the ghost hunter? Where did this doll come from? But most importantly, where is this doll now?